All right, Shalom. I want to start off as always, man, by giving all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakha HaKodash, Divine design to the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. I want to send much love unto the brothers out there doing this work in truth and sincerity. And I also want to send peace and blessings unto the believers of the hopeful elect. And the first thing that I want to talk about here, real quick, is you psychotic rapture idiots. Okay. As you can see, today is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025, and your crazy behind is at work, right? But you still got time though. Okay, you still got time. All right, so the day not over with. You still could be raptured. Never know. Okay, you still could be, raptured. But we know that it's a joke, man. They've been talking about people being raptured since the 1700s. It ain't happened yet. No man know the hour nor the day, and the doctrine of the rapture in itself is false. It's not biblical. Okay, it's not rooted in the scriptures. And a Edomite came up with that, breakdown, which Esau don't got the truth. Okay, he just don't. But you people who believe in the rapture, you still got all day today to see if you're gonna be raptured, man. But anyway, that's a joke. But I wanted to get into the book of Matthew chapter 20. Matthew chapter 14, starting at verse 22, man. And this is an account here of the Apostle Peter walking on water. Okay, and just a leap of faith he took to even do that. But also how he responded, to the storm and everything else, and just how this account applies into our walk in the faith, because what we're doing here in this truth is walking on water. Okay, we're doing the impossible. What we're doing, we're supposed to be doing it because of all of the traps and the witchcraft and the BS that Esau has put into the world to keep Jake under, man. All right. So what we're doing is truly a miracle. Brothers and sisters in the faith looking for spiritual power, bro, this is it, bro. Okay. But some other people don't get the magnitude of knowing that you're an Israelite, bro. Do you know how many stumbling blocks Esau put in the way to keep this from Jake? So many doctrines, bro. He didn't pay guys, all kinds of things. But now we know who we are, man. Okay, we know that we're the Israelites. And it hurts these people, man. Like, truly, it hurts them to know that we know. But now it's too late for them. The next thing after this is Esau's destruction. And this is why we're seeing so much mayhem and everything in the earth, is because the Israelites are waking up. That's why it's going down, boy. It's time for our Lord to come back. Okay? People blaming on this and no. According to the Bible, when the Israelites find out who they are, then the end gonna come in. That's the downfall of our enemies. Okay? Paul said it's an evident token of their destruction. Us knowing the truth. It's evidence that Esau gonna be destroyed just by us knowing who we are. So it's only a matter of time, for these devils crash. But I'm gonna get into this account here, man. This is Matthew chapter 14 and verse 22. It says, "And straightway Yahushai constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent the multitude away. And when he had sent the multitude away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. Now, real quick, bro, I just want to highlight verse 23, bro. Our Lord Yahushua prayed, bro. The Lord prayed. You gotta ask yourself, okay, so why he praying for? He the Lord. Bro, he had to pray, bro. The Lord had to pray. He prayed to the Most High, bro. Plenty of times, before he got crucified, right? He was praying. John 17, he was praying. And many other accounts speaks about Yahushua praying, but the Lord himself praying, man. Which show you prayer is very important, okay? And fasting, a day of atonement coming up. If you can keep your brother, keep it, okay? If you can take the day off, or take the day off, right? But try to keep the day of atonement, man. So you pray to the Lord, if you can do it the day before, right? Or if you can do it, if you're off on the weekend, whatever, just fast, bro. Do it, okay? It's best that you do it on the day of atonement, but if you can, do it on your day off, then do it on your day off, bro. The Lord knows our schedule. He knows we're dealing with here in Babylon, the great brother. No need, to be all, messed up inside because you can't do it on that particular day. You want to do it on that day if you can. But shit, if you got a day off before that, if you off on that, that Monday, whatever, shit, I do it that Monday. Lord understand, bro, you just fast, okay? Because you need to do it. I'm going to do it, okay? But anyway, the point being that Yahushua prayed, man, the Lord himself. It says, excuse me, verse 24 says, but the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out of fear. And I think any one of us would have, would have panicked and bugged out, seeing someone walking on the water in the midst of a storm. Order received. All right, it was a storm going on. Order received. Okay, the waves and stuff going off, and then you see a man walking on the water, but you be terrified, like what the hell is going on? And who is that person, that has this capability of walking in the midst of a storm on the sea, bro? So that would have, put fear into anybody, right? Because it's not normal. It says, verse 27 says, but straightway Yahushua spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answering him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. So for a moment, Peter walked on water, man. For a moment, right? But then our Lord Yahushua, he made that storm increase, right? And Peter took his eyes off Yahushua, and he was focused on the storm around him. Now, let's apply that to the faith. We coming, right, to the Lord, out of this world, out of this hill, out of this storm, right? And we walking on water too. Coming to Yahushua, right? Doing the impossible. But then guess what? The Lord, he increases storms in our lives, right? Things get hectic, you're going through hell, and sometimes you begin to sink, right? You take your eyes off the truth in the Lord, man. You rub everything else around you, and shit, look, or you'll forget about the Lord yourself sometime, which is crazy, But it happens, and you begin to sink. And then what it says? It says, Peter. It says, Peter cried, saying, "Lord, save me." Right when he realized he was drowning, he like, "Hey, save me, Lord." But if people just kept his eyes on the Lord, he had to worry about everything around him, right? He would just kept his eyes on Yahushua. He would have just walked to Yahushua, even though the storm was going crazy around him. The Lord told him to come on. Same thing for us, man. If you focus on the storm around you, right, you're gonna begin to sink yourself. Some men sink and drown, and not the truth, right? Some men drown, they never come back because the storm took them, right? It says, and immediately, hold up, 1 minute, verse 31 says, and immediately Yahushua stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? So Peter doubted, man, for a split second, and then he started to sink. But the reason that Peter, doubted is because of the storm, right? Now keep in mind, it had already said that it were waves, and the sea was tossing already before. And so Peter stepped out on that. But the Lord increased the storm. And it got too much for Peter. He like, hell no, I can't I can't walk on this, Lord. But the Lord told him to come on, bro. But he took his eyes off. He started to doubt. Same thing happened to you, man, in the faith, brother. You take your eyes off the truth, you worry about things around you, and you let the things around you get the best of your walk and the best of you. It happened to us all, brother, okay? If you're in the faith long enough, trust and believe, you're going to meet something that's going to shake you up, okay? It can be year 1, it can be year 5, it can be year 10, year 15. You're going to encounter something that's going to shake you up, right? They're going to throw you off like, damn, what the hell, right? And it's a test ultimately, right? Because the Lord tested Peter. But it's a test, It's on the Lord to save you or not out of that situation, right? Because he saved Peter. Okay, he saved Peter from drowning, man. Ultimately, because Peter was of the elect, right? Some men go through their hell, and the hell get the best of them, and they never recover from it, right? They never recover from their fall, right? Because we all going to fall. It tells you a righteous man falls 7 times. But the point being is that you don't let the fall be the end of you, man. Okay? You continue to strive and push forward, knowing that the Lord got a helping hand for you, man. As the Lord saved Peter here with a helping hand, the Lord going to save us with a helping hand, right? If we build that number, which real quick leads me to Isaiah 43, right? Which is a powerful scripture here, Isaiah 43, man. Some that comfort me, right? This is Isaiah 43, and starting at verse 1, it says, excuse me, excuse me. It says, but now thus said the Lord Yahweh that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee, I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burnt, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. So though we go through things, right? The water, the fire, different trials, ups and downs, losses, whatever it may be. The Lord is saying, look, when you go through these things, pretty much, I will be with you the whole way, right? The whole way gonna be with us, man. But you got to believe that and know that. Okay, the Lord watch us, bro. Our forefathers went through hell. Okay, the prophets they went through a lot. And guess what? The Lord with them, man. But they went through a lot, man. Okay, all of them. Paul, Peter, all of them. Jeremiah. They all had their own trials and walks, man. But the Lord with them every step of the way, and they understood that, right? King David, man, the king. Okay, chosen by the Most High, bro. He went through a lot, bro. Saul trying to kill him, him committing sin and all the stuff that he did. Shit, the Lord with him the whole time, man. Right? Now he got judged for what he did, but nevertheless, the Lord have mercy, man. So the same thing for us, right? So reading it again, he says, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. Meaning what? Though you're going through this hell, I won't let this hell get the best of you, right? Some men get overflowed by the river and by the waters, and they just go, back into the world, right? And Jake go back to being a nigga, whatever he was doing, right? But the Lord is talking to ultimately a brother or a sister of the elect. Yes, you're gonna go through the waters, but I ain't gonna let it get the best of you, right? As it says in 1 Corinthians, 10, Paul says this here. Let me get this here. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, right? It says, there had no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man, right? So we go through common things, right? Some more than others, but it's a common thing amongst us all, right? A temptation, right? It says, but the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able. So the Lord not going to allow certain temptations and things to ultimately overcome a member of the elect. Now, he'll let a nigga get overthrown by something crazy. But a brother or sister of the elect, he won't let certain situations ultimately get the best of them because they're his chosen, right? It says, but the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. Sirach 33. Sirach 33 and verse 1. Yep. Sirach 33 verse 1 says, there shall no evil happen unto him that fear the Lord, but in temptation, even again, he will deliver him. So the Lord ultimately, man, going to save members of the elect from different trials and tribulations, right? So back in Isaiah, it says, when thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burnt, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. So we're going to go through the fire, right? It's going to happen. But the Most High won't allow the fire to ultimately get the best of us, right? Well, man, Isaiah 43. Hold up. Excuse me. Oh yeah, my bad. Sirach, right? Talking about the fire, right? Sirach 2. Sirach 2 in verse start at verse 4. It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So it's telling you that when you go through something, right, it says to be cheerful. Okay, Peter speaks about the same thing, in the GNT, it says, accept whatever happens unto you, right? When you go through things, man, sometimes it's hard to accept your situation, right? Sometimes it is hard to accept your situation and your position that you're in. But don't let those situations ultimately overcloud of what the Lord trying to do in your life, man. Because things can look bad in the flesh, right? And in the eyes of men. But ultimately, what's the goal of the Most High? Why is he doing this to me? What is he trying to make me aware of, right? And at first you don't understand. You like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? You go through, so you like, bro, wow, you trying to rationalize your situation, right? But ultimately, bro, this is the Most High putting us through these things, right? It says, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state, right? And being changed to a lower state, it don't feel good, right? It don't feel good to be brought low, but then again, in the spirit, if you, if you are brought low, ultimately the Lord doing it to you, man, right? To humble your soul, to pretty much get you back on track, because the way that you were going obviously wasn't right for him to do that to you. So ultimately, you being brought low is a good thing in the eyes of the Lord. As I mentioned, King David, man, he was the king, chosen by the Lord, anointed by the prophet, man. But he did something that was extremely bad. And so the Lord brought him low, man, instead of taking his life, right? Because ultimately, according to the law, his life supposed to have been taken for doing what he did, but the Most High had mercy, man. But he brought him low. And he shamed David before all of Israel and before his enemies, right? But David was patient in his lower state, man. He never deviated from serving Yahweh by Shem Shai, right? It says, 1 minute. Verse 5 says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And look, bro, that's the point that I wanted, right? It says, gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So the men who are going to be accepted by the Lord are going to go through a furnace of adversity, man. Adversity, bro. Hardship, okay? It comes in different forms in our walks. It comes in different forms, man. But nevertheless, the adversity, you're going to have to face it, brother. It don't feel good. It don't look good. None of it, bro. But if you want to be accepted by the Lord, then you got to go through it, man. This is how I see, guys coming here playing games, thinking that being a part of this thing is just some boys club type vibe or whatever, some black get together moving. It's not, brother. You are crossing over into something spiritual, highly spiritual that really we don't even, understand. Saying that you coming to serve the Most High, brother, that's not easy, all right? Because the Most High is a hard teacher. But the Most High is a hard teacher, bro. A very hard teacher. And maybe you don't understand that right now. But eventually you will, you stay around long enough, you're going to find out. But the Most High a hard teacher, boy. And really, it's an eye on you now. For real, okay? You claim, oh, yeah, I'm a teacher, prophet, whatever you say you is, okay? Most High hold you to that, bro. And if you don't do what you got to do, he gonna address you. He gonna address you, man. So know what you're a part of, okay? But if you want the kingdom, it's telling you how to get it. You're gonna have to go through adversity, man. The hardship. Don't focus on the hardships around you, man. Endure it. And in due time, man, you know, the Most High have it to where you can bear it, man. Okay? I remember, you know, first coming into the faith, brother. Um, you know, you first come into the faith, brother, really, man, it takes you about 5 years to, you know what I'm saying, to really just get your feet settled and starting to get an understanding of what you're a part of, right? It takes about 5 years. Could be early for some brothers, you know, brothers grow at different times, but normally it takes about 5 years, bro. From, I'm just saying, from when I hit year 5 and then seeing other brothers hit year 5, the difference from being on the other side and coming into the camp and then, you know, seeing where they at in the spirit. About 5 years, right? But then you get to year 10, you're like, oh shit, I ain't understand nothing in year 5. You know? I thought I knew something in year 5. Then you get to year 10, like, man, I don't, yeah, I'm a lot, yeah, shit, I got a long way to go. Yeah, brother, it's like that, okay? You know, but the Lord, you know, help us grow at different times, man. But yeah, brother, the fire is real, okay? The hell is real. But the Lord, as he says in Isaiah 43, he gonna be with us through the fire, through the trials. So just keep that in mind, okay? Keep that in mind, man. I'm gonna close out there, bro. I'm gonna get back to work here. But I pray it was edifying, man. I'll praise you. How about Shema Shai? Shalom.